What's up, Cardboard Kingdom? It's Cardboard Kings back at it again with another video. And today I'm going to be submitting 21 cards for grading through GameStop. If you aren't aware, GameStop partnered with PSA about 2 to 3 months ago to offer a different grading service for us consumers. Essentially, GameStop will be packaging and shipping cards for the consumer instead of having to go directly through PSA. Wanted to show you guys some of the goods before we sent them off with GameStop, starting with a couple Scarlet and Violet 151 cards. This beautiful Venusaur SIR, Psyduck illustration rare, Squirtle illustration rare, and then kicking on over to Scarlet and Violet base set with this Drowsy. If you haven't seen, this card is going for like $450 in a PSA 10, and it's only like $30 raw. So crazy splits between PSA 9s versus 10s. And then obviously classic Umbreon V there. Can't go wrong with Umbreon in general right now. And then we've got a Rayquaza from Evolving Skies. We've got a few cards from Crown Zenith here. Dialga V-Star. Beautiful, beautiful card. Followed up by the Pikachu there. And then we've got a few cards from the new Surging Spark set. We've got the Slakoth illustration rare and the Ceruledge illustration rare. So some beautiful cards there. And then we've also got some celebrations here. Wasn't necessarily planning on piecing either of these, but if they get 10s, I just think these are really neat looking cards. They're not crazy valuable, but might add those to the PC. And then as you can see, a classic Venusaur holo there. And then kicking on over to Paradox Rift. This Gimme Ghoul card's honestly one of the coolest modern cards in my opinion. It's definitely just a completely different artwork style there. Not super valuable, but like that one a lot. Then we've got two of these Iron Valiant EX special illustration rares. And then ending it off, we've got some Japanese here. We've got Bulbasaur and Ivysaur IRs from the Japanese 151. And then we've got Goldengo, Jolteon, and Espeon from Terrestrial Festival. We are at GameStop. I've got my 21 Pokemon cards here with me. I'm going to go ahead and get these submitted off to PSA. It's the day I've been waiting for. My 21 card Pokemon submission has returned from PSA. And essentially when you go to GameStop, they give it to you in a wrapped up bag. I was a little bit let down by this. I figured you'd at least get it in a box like PSA sends it to you, but just a PSA, you will get it in a bag with no extra protection. So didn't love that, but the cards don't see damaged or anything like that I can tell. So guess we'll just have to dock that down. And at the end of the video, I'll give an overall impression of grading with GameStop. And then one note from earlier in the video, I did send these in at the $15.99 per card level. The day after I submitted these, the price increased actually $3. So now every Pokemon card is $18.99 and every sports card is $19.99. So getting into the video, starting off with the Pikachu from Crown Zenith here. We did pre-grade this one a 9.5 and it got a 10. Really good start there on the Pikachu. This card is worth $100 in a PSA 10. I've got $23 into it, including grading costs. So got that one for around $7. We're looking at about a $77 profit. Moving on over to the Umbreon V here. We pre-graded this one a 10 actually. It is a bit heavy on the top, but should have been within the 55-45 guidelines by PSA. And it got a 10, so that's a good start there. We've got the Pikachu and we've got the Umbreon, both in PSA 10s. The Umbreon there is worth about $170 in a PSA 10. And I got it extremely cheap, so we're looking at about $142 profit on that one. Card number 3 is a Venusaur from Celebrations here. We pre-graded this one a 9.5 as well. And it got a 10. So 3 for 3 to start. Beautiful Venusaur from Celebrations. That one is worth $70 in a 10. So $52 profit on that bad boy. And then I think we have 2 more celebrations. I'm curious if they'll all be in order. We got the Zekrom celebrations here as well. This card was virtually perfect, so we pre-graded it a 10. And PSA agreed, giving us a Gem Mint 10 on that beauty. This card is worth $70 and a 10, so I'm looking at about $52 profit. And then following it up with its baby bro, the Reshiram. This one was also virtually perfect, so we pre-graded it a 10. And again, PSA agreed. So 5 for 5 to start out. If you've watched our other videos, we've gotten wrecked by PSA lately when it comes to sport cards. So a little bit surprised, but obviously happy. I did decide, I think I am going to PC these. I think they just look badass next to each other. So again, really good start and picked up some new PC pieces there. Kicking on over to card number 6, we've got the Drowsy, probably the most important card of the submission. If it gets a 10, it's actually worth like $600+ right now. We did pre-grade this one a 9. Saw some decent whiting on the back, and it does look like the top's a little bit thicker than the bottom, so expecting a 9, but we'll see. And it's a PSA 9, our first 9 of the video. Noted, I did pick this up for like $3. And right now on a 9, it's selling for like 85. So even getting a 9, I'm up $66 in profit on that card. I got that card months and months ago before the whole boom happened. So happy with a 9 there. Next, we've got 2 Japanese, I believe 151 here. We got the Bulbasaur Art Rare. I pre-graded this a 10, and I pre-graded the Ivysaur a 10 as well. And we got a 10 on the Bulbasaur and a 10 on the Ivysaur, so can't ask for much more there. The Bulbasaur is worth about $40 and a 10 for an $18 profit. The Venusaur I have down is $38 and a 10 for a $17 profit, so not bad there. Next, we've got the Squirtle IR from Pokemon 151 English. We did pre-grade this one a 10. There was some slight whiting on the back corners, like a lot of cards from this era, but we thought it was minor enough to score a 10. And it got a 9, so a little bit disappointed there. Taking a look at the back, there is a tiny bit of corner whiting in the top left corner. Most of the other corners look pretty crisp, and everything else on it was pretty much virtually perfect. So we thought this had a decent chance at a 10. Unfortunately, it got a 9. I'm going to create a separate stack for the 9s here. And next, we've got the Cerulege from Surging Sparks. On this one, we did pre-grade it a 10, so looked pretty much perfect from our point of view. And it got a 10. That's a big boy card in a 10. Looking at my spreadsheet here, the Cerulege is worth about $190 in a 10. So we're looking at about $151 profit on that card. Now we've got the Rayquaza V from Evolving Skies. We pre-graded this one a 10 as well. And a PSA 10. So far only 2 9s. The rest have been 10s. Beautiful card on the Rayquaza. That one is worth $75 in a 10. So a $45 profit. Next, we've got the Slakoth from Surging Sparks. Really cool artwork in my opinion. Hoping for a 10 here. Might PC this one. We did pre-grade this one a 10 as well. And we got a 10. PSA agreed again. Beautiful Slakoth. This card is worth roughly $140 in a 10. So looking at about $118 profit there. And then I think we've got 3 additional Japanese back-to-back here from Terrestrial Festival. Starting it off with the Goldengo. This is one of the coolest artworks I've ever seen, in my opinion. I think it is so cool and so unique. Really hoping for a 10 here. On this one, we did pre-grade it a 9.5, but we got a PSA 10. So absolutely awesome. This card in a 10 is worth $45. So looking at about a $21 profit on that guy. Next, we've got some relatively cheap ones. We've got the Jolteon EX from Terrestrial. Pre-graded this a 10, as well as the Espeon, which should be next as a 10. We got a 10 on the Jolteon, so that card's worth about 20 bucks in a 10. $3 profit, almost not worth grading. The Espeon I'm showing is worth about 25 in a 10, so $8 profit. Both of those got 10s. Beautiful, beautiful cards. And then I think we're down to our last 6. Next is the Dialga V-Star from Crown Zenith. The secret there, we did pre-grade this one a 10, so hoping for a 10 on this absolute beauty. And we got it. Wow, a 10 on the Dialga V-Star. This card's worth $200 in a 10, so we're looking at about 125 profit versus what we essentially bought it for. Down to the last 5 cards in the video. We do have 2 of these Iron Valiants. One of them we pre-graded a 10, it looks like. One of them we pre-graded a 9.5. And this got a 9, unfortunately. This one got a 9 as well. So both Iron Valiants got a 9. Let's see if we can notice anything crazy. The back on this one looks pretty good. Maybe a slight whiting in the top left corner. And then on the other Iron Valiant, another little bit of whiting on the top 2 corners, but a lot of these modern cards, you're gonna see that. So if we see that it's minor enough, sometimes we'll send it if everything else is perfect, but a little bit of a bummer on those 2. Let's see if the side deck can give us a nice little rebound here. We pre-graded this one a 10 actually, and it got a 9. So this one centering looks pretty solid. The bottom left corner has got a decent white ding on it compared to the other cards we've shown. So understood why it got a 9. Showing this card's worth $32 and a 9. Again, this one's went up a lot in value, so still showing a $2 profit even on a 9. And then the Iron Valiant, I don't remember if I said it, but those are both worth $38 and a 9. So still looking at a $2 profit versus what we bought it at. Next, we've got the Venusaur EX SIR from Scarlet and Violet 151. We pre-graded this one a 9.5 as well. It was definitely like 55. It was like 57-43 centering. I can't tell just by looking at it which side, but wouldn't be surprised if this got a 9. And it got a 9. Thought we had test out the new 55-45 centering guidelines, and unfortunately we got a 9 there, but still an $85 card and a 9. And again, a lot of these 151 cards have went up in price, so looking at about a $15 profit on the Venusaur. And then lastly, we've got the Gimme Ghoul from Paradox Rift. I pre-graded this one a 9.5 as well, and we got a 9. So that one's worth about $16 in a PSA 9 for roughly $7 loss. In total, we got 14 10s and 7 9s. That's good for a gem rate of 67%. Overall, really happy with how the grades turned out, especially because we haven't had too much luck when it comes to sports cards recently. But overall, couldn't have asked for much more on this submission. The highlights are probably this Dialga V-Star. The Cerulege here is definitely a highlight. Honestly, that's the cloth from Surging Sparks, worth about 140. That is a highlight as well. So just showing you a couple of those highlights. And then probably my favorite result are the Reshiram and Zekrom 10s here. Going to be putting those up on my shelf. So as I said, overall a very successful order. In total, after calculating all the profits and losses I have in my sheet, we're looking at about $956 in total profit. So nearing that $1,000 mark. If you can do that in a submission, definitely a success in my book. So couldn't have asked for much more. So my overall thoughts of submitting through GameStop is definitely mixed. I'd say mostly positive. I'd say main things to call out. They advertise a 45-day turnaround. I did submit these on January 25th of 2025. I got them back March 19th of 2025. So a total of 53-day turnaround. I have heard that 45 days means business days, so I calculated that as well. We're looking at 38 business days, so either way that you look at it, they were relatively close to the 45-day kind of promise, regardless of if you're looking at it in business days or total days. So turnaround time, I'd say relatively normal. If you send it through GameStop versus PSA, don't see, a huge speed increase or anything like that. As far as price, again, I was able to submit these. It was $15.99 per card. If you do submit through GameStop, I would recommend signing up for a pro membership. A pro membership, I think, is $20 a month, but by doing that, you essentially get $5 coupons every single month. And if you submit any cards for grading, you do not have to pay shipping. So essentially, after the pro discount, $5 discount for the month of January, and the no shipping cost added, it only cost me $15.75 per card. Like I said, now that price is increased by $3, so keep that in mind when you're submitting. So overall speed, not bad. Overall price, I'd say it's definitely worth it because you're essentially rivaling the price that PSA is charging for a bulk order. So if you don't have 20 cards to submit, I think it's definitely worth just going ahead and submitting a few here and there. It's way more convenient than waiting until you have 20. I was a little bit let down that the cards didn't come in a box. They were just in a GameStop bag without much protection. As you can see by the video, though, it doesn't look like anything got damaged. So although I will dock PSA a little bit, or GameStop a little bit for that, overall nothing of mine was damaged, which was nice. The associates at my local GameStop were helpful, no issues there. So overall, I would do it again. I would recommend others to do it. It still is a little scary if you send in some really valuable stuff, but overall, I'd give it a 2 thumbs up, and we'll see you guys in the next video. If you like the content, please feel free to like and subscribe. Peace.